Good evening. This is Shindo here. I came across this article today. The inevitable outcome of your Christian justification of everything you do is, of course, you're forgiven for your sins because you believe something. This is what makes Christians the most dangerous people on the planet, because Jews don't believe that they can get away with whatever they want. They've got 10 commandments. Muslims don't believe they can get away with whatever they want to do. They've got multiple laws that they are supposed to abide by, but Christians don't have to do squat. As a matter of fact, they can do whatever they want to, and Jesus is going to forgive them. And, of course, the inevitable conclusion to that is that you get a lot of rapists and murderers out there who justify what they do because they are saved through Jesus. Now, I just came across this article today. Headline: Revealed! Planned Parenthood killer believed Christ's forgiveness meant he could get away with anything. Robert Louis Deere, the right-wing Christian terrorist who attacked a Planned Parenthood location in Colorado Springs, was a violent, woman-hating serial offender with a history of sexual assault and domestic violence. Definitely was a Christian. An ex-wife said in court documents that 57-year-old believed that, quote, as long as he is saved, unquote, by Jesus Christ, quote, he can do whatever he pleases. Well, I stumble across you Christians all the time who seem to think that you could do whatever you please. It's nothing new to me. According to the Charleston Post and Courier, Deere was arrested in 1992 for the rape of a woman he accosted at her job at the Charleston Mall. When she declined his advances, he stalked her to her home and reportedly raped her at knife point. Sounds like about half of you Christian men's resume. In divorce documents from 1993, one of Deere's 3 ex-wives described the killer as controlling, abusive, and serially unfaithful. Huh. Well, that describes just about every Christian man husband. He routinely gambled away the family's money, she said, but was ever reluctant to provide for his wife and children financially. Why, that sounds like your father, the good Christian father, huh, Lucy? Lucy is nodding emphatically yes. That sounds just like her good old Christian, fundamentalist Christian father. Hot-tempered and unstable, he, quote, erupts into a fury in a matter of seconds, unquote, said Deere's second wife, Barbara Mesher, to attorneys. In her time with Deere, she testified, she continually, quote, lived in fear and dread of his emotional and physical abuse, unquote. Quote, he claims to be a Christian and is extremely evangelistic, but does not follow the Bible in his actions, unquote, Mesher said. Quote, he says that as long as he believes he will be saved, he can do whatever he pleases. He is obsessed with the world coming to an end, unquote. Gosh, that right there reminds me of somebody I know online. What is his name? He lost one of his channels that had millions and millions of views. I can't remember his name. That's how insignificant he is to me. But somebody that I used to know that calls himself a Christian. Deere was apprehended on Friday after killing 3 and injuring 9 others during a 5-hour rampage. Witnesses said he was ranting about baby parts when taken into custody, probably an Alex Jones listener, I would guess. An anti-Planned Parenthood talking point spawned by anti-choice extremists and parroted by Republican presidential candidates and conservative media. Alex Jones, Alex Jones, Alex Jones. The Post and the Courier revealed that while 1992 rape accusations against Deer never went to trial, court documents paint a graphic and horrifying picture of what reportedly took place. The unnamed woman was an employee at Charleston Citadel Mall. Deer, who was married to Mesher at the time, made repeated advances towards her, which she declined. Deer reportedly began to harass the woman on and off the clock. He followed her to her home, and on November 29, 1992, he reportedly ambushed her as she attempted to take out the trash. Quote, the suspect then allegedly put a knife to the victim's neck and forced her back inside her residence, unquote, said a police report about the incident. Quote, the suspect then allegedly forced the victim down into the couch, struck her in the mouth with his fist, and then sexually assaulted her, unquote. Well, if we lived in Bible times, she would be put to death. She would be stoned along with the victimizer. The victim gets stoned to death. Don't believe me? Look it up. The assault continued with Deer dragging the woman into a bedroom and continuing to rape her there. When he left the house, the victim called a friend who took her to the hospital where she reported Deer to the police. Quote, Deer has a history of arrest in South Carolina out of Colton and Beaufort counties, records show, unquote, said the Post and Courier's Glenn Smith and Melissa Bogton. Quote, a background search completed by the Post and Courier found that Deer was arrested in 2003 on a cruelty to animals charge, but was found not guilty in 2004. He was charged under the state's Peeping Tom law in 2002, but that charge too was later dismissed according to background search, unquote. The ex-wife called police in 1997 after a beating from Deer, but like the Charleston rape victim, she ultimately declined to press charges. Look at this picture, Christians, because this is you. When you wonder why people are against you, it's not because they somehow think that you are just so righteous and wonderful and they're not. Look at the picture. This is you. And that is the reason why people speak against you. And people will continue to speak against you. And you get what you deserve. The wrath, the fire is coming, folks. And there is no one on this planet who ever lived who deserves it more than you Christians. Welcome to your hell, because the vengeance of the almighty and infinite universe is coming down on your heads. And I, for one, ain't going to be losing any sleep over it. This is Shindo. Have a wonderful Sunday evening.